All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that members of both sides can hear you and the court reporter can hear you as well. If you'll state your name for the record. All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, Jesus.
Mr. State, please keep your voice up so I don't strain to hear you. Oh, much better.
Hi, Jesus. How old are you?
I'm 16,
16. What's your date of birth?
11/23/2007.
Okay. And I want to talk to you about the gaming incident. When was that?
That was February 21st, 2021.
Okay. And where were you on February 21st of 2021?
In my room.
Okay. And who was in your house at that time?
My mom, I believe my dad was working, and then my sister and my brother, and then Raymond Alejandro.
And Raymond Alejandro, is he in this courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe one with an article of clothing?
Gray shirt, collared shirt,
Okay.
green, sorry.
So tell me what happened on February 21st, 2021. What were you doing?
I was playing video games, and I had woken up from can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, so you stated that you were playing video games. Where in the house were you playing video games?
In my room.
Okay. And what happened while you were playing video games?
Well, while I was playing video games, Raymond had walked into my room and asked me if I had wanted to play, and I had told him no.
Okay, so at the beginning he was not in your room. It was just you playing video games?
It was just me, yes, sir.
Okay. So he comes into your room and you told him no. What did he do after?
After he had gotten on his phone, and I believe he plugged in his phone, and he had pulled up a pillow and laid on me while I was in my gaming chair.
Okay, and what happened next?
He had so he had a pillow and he was on my lap, and he had rubbed my my private area.
Okay, so you said he was laying down on your lap?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And by laying down, which part of his body was laying down on your lap?
His head.
His head, okay. And where were you?
I was in my gaming chair in my room.
How tall was the chair?
It's about like 2.5 feet, maybe.
From the ground?
Yes. And it's curved, like it was black, curved, and it was kind of like, if you think about it, like a crescent moon, like kind of that shape.
I see.
And yeah, it's low to the ground, and it's kind of like a rocking chair.
Okay. Does it have any legs?
No, sir.
So you said that when he laid his head on your lap, he ended up doing something with his hands?
Yes, sir.
What did he do?
He had rubbed me over the clothes with his hands.
Was it one hand or two hands?
One.
Do you remember which one?
I believe left.
Okay.
He was laying on his right side, and he was to my left.
And you said rubbing. Could you describe the motion using your hands?
Kind of like a can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Yeah, so if you like, can you demonstrate to us how he was rubbing?
He kind of like well, it would be in my left hand. Kind of just like, I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. How long was he grabbing you?
Probably like 5 minutes, maybe. No, less than that. I I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Was it more than 1 minute?
I would say so, yes.
Was it more than five or less than five or something else?
Less, maybe.
Okay. So between 1 and 5 minutes.
Yes.
What did you do?
I had continued playing and I had continued playing and then eventually I had gotten up and left.
So you mentioned the word private part. So what do you use your private part for?
What do you mean?
So the private part the place in your body that he touched,
Yes.
you use the word private part to describe it.
Yes, sir.
Right. What do you use your private part for?
To urinate.
Okay. Was Mr. Alejandro doing anything else aside from touching you?
No.
Was he saying anything?
No.
Okay, Judge, for the hearing, to scope this hearing, this is a 3837 portion. Did you want me to elicit testimony for the outcry as well? To
Yes,
take both of them at the same time?
yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about the other instance, right? The first one.
Yes, sir.
When when did that when did that happen?
The 21st night and or the 20th night, sorry, into going into the 21st.
Okay. And what happened on that instance?
On that instance, I had stayed up a little longer than I should have. I was playing video games and I didn't want to get caught, so I had hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna withdraw the question.
Okay.
So regarding these two instances, who was the first adult that you told?
My mother.
Okay, and your mother, on this day, was she over 18 years old?
Yes.
Okay. There was no other person that you told first. Your mom was the first
No,
one.
sir.
Okay. And what did you tell her?
I had pulled her into my room aside alone, and I had told her that Ramy had touched me. Ramy or Raymond.
Did you give her any more details that you remember?
Not that I remember now.
Did mom have any questions when you told her?
I didn't hear that last part.
Did your mom have any questions when you told her?
Sorry, give me a second. I'm thinking. Not that I initially recall.
Defense?
Yes, Judge. Just to clarify as far as the 3837 hearing, because maybe I misunderstood, so the state are you guys alleging or trying to, in the guilt innocence phase, get in the incident from February, the two incidents from February 21st, 22nd of 2021?
So for judicial economy, we're doing both hearings, 3837 and the
Right.
Outcry hearing, and this time I elicited the incident that happened that's not in the indictment, which would be under 3837.
All right, so everyone, please remain seated so that the court reporter can hear.
I'm sorry.
And if you all would not speak towards each other,
Sure. Yes.
please speak in the microphone so the court reporter can hear. From the witness testimony, the 3837 What incident are you all alleging falls under 3837?
The gaming incident.
All right. And that is not what's in the indictment, correct?
Correct.
All right. Any other questions, state?
Just a couple of questions really quick.
Is your microphone on?
Now it is, yes. So do you know the address of the house where you're at?
My house?
Yes.
Thank
Defense.
you, Judge. Just to clarify, so for lack of a better term, the video game incident, what day did that happen?
The 21st.
February 21st.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What day did the incident at night in your bedroom? What day did that
The
happen?
night of the 20th.
The night of the 20th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and I had gotten some notes that, and maybe it was eventually, you had told your two friends and a girlfriend, is that right? About what happened, about the incidents.
After I told my mom,
That's what I was gonna ask.
are you asking me, did I tell
Yes,
the people before I told my mom?
correct.
No, sir.
Okay, so any person of any kind, your mother was the first person you told about these incidents.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's all I had, Judge.
No further questions from the state.
All right. You may step down.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any further witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The state will call Regina Garza.
All right. Have her come in, please. All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. You can lower your hand. Please have a seat. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record. State.
Good afternoon, Ms. Garza. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to talk about when you found out about this case. And where were you?
At home.
At home. Where, who was home with you?
Myself, my children, Jesus, Jose, and Ariana, and my husband, and Raymond.
All right. And at some point, did you talk to Jesus?
Yes,
Where were you when you spoke with him?
in his bedroom.
Who was in the bedroom with you?
Just me and him.
Okay. And at that point, what did he, well, how old were you at the time?
Oh,
Let me rephrase. Were you over 18?
yes.
And what did he tell you while you were in the room with him?
That Raymond touched him inappropriately.
Did he describe any other details to you?
Not in the beginning. I had to ask him more to get him to go into more detail.
What
And
did
then he did tell me that he touched him on his penis under his pants.
And did he describe that one instance or did he describe additional ones?
He told me that that happened at 5 a.m. on Sunday. And then later on in the afternoon while he was playing video games.
What did he go into detail about the second instance later on in the afternoon?
And he said that he sat next to him on the floor and he did the same thing.
And the same thing referring to what?
Touched him on his penis.
Did he go into any additional details?
No.
Oh, do you recall giving a statement?
Yes.
Was it a written statement?
Yes.
Would that help refresh your memory if you had that in front of you?
Sure.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Your Honor, just if I can expedite things, for purposes of the outcry hearing, I think she's established, she's the outcry witness.
All right. So you have no objection to this being the outcry witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Is there any other questions for the witness?
Not from the state judge.
All right. Thank you. You may step down. All right. Does anyone want to have any argument with regards to 3837?
Judge, and so that was my confusion. So for the 3837, no, there's no argument. It's the 404B. The state, I believe, is going to try to introduce testimony about an incident that may have happened in, I believe, 2017. And so we would object. I don't think it meets any of the exceptions to 404B.
But under 3837, isn't it admissible at all? You don't think so?
Not under 3837, I don't believe so.
So State, are you withdrawing it then?
Oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
There's two separate, the 3837 is about the gaming incident that we heard testimony on. I apologize, it's not very clear.
All right.
The 2017 incident is a different incident that happened years prior at, I believe, an apartment. There was no police reports or anything filed. That's what I believe the state is trying to introduce, that 2017 incident under 404B. So we are objecting to that.
State?
So with that instance, Judge, it would happen when, it would need to happen whenever the complainant
I
testifies.
can't
which
quite
we-
hear you, Counselor.
So that would happen whenever the complainant would testify. We don't anticipate the complainant to testify today. I can approach the court if you like, once I get into the statement, so that way the court can make a decision to give the court context as to whether or not the statement is admissible under 404B.
All right, if parties are asking me whether or not now I can state that this should be admissible with regards to your 404B arguments, I would have to make that decision at the time that I hear more evidence in the case.
Okay.
So before that is elicited from any witness, you all need to approach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. And then with the 3837, to be clear for the record, everyone is telling me that that is the gaming incident, correct?
That's correct, Judge.
And defense, you have no objection to that being admitted.
No, Your Honor, not to the gaming incident from 2021.
All right. Is there anything else before I bring the jury in?
Nothing from this time.
Judge, can we have just a final ruling that the mother is the outcry witness?
Yes, defense stipulated that the mother is the outcry witness. So it's stipulated too, and the mother is the outcry witness.
And the court has granted a motion limiting on any other allegations other than those two that were just testified to.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's line the jurors up.
Can we put something on the record real quick? We,
Just 1 second. Maria, are you ready to place something on the record?
I'm ready, Judge.
Yes.
we are intending on introducing the same records as evidence in this trial. We did not file a business record affidavit, but we do have the custodial records available to testify. I just confirmed with defense, and defense has, my understanding, no objections, and we need to stipulate to the authenticity of those records.
Correct. No objection to the authenticity. I do have objections about what's in the records, but we can take those up later.
All
So
right.
that way we can dismiss our custodial records from testifying.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ready, Judge?
Yes, we're ready.
All right, for the jury.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the oath. If you could all raise your right hand for me, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear that in the case of the state of Texas against Raymond Alejandro, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State.
True bill of indictment. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Bexar County, state of Texas, duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the January term AD 2022 of the 144th Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term, do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment. On or about the 21st day of February 2021, Raymond Alejandro, hereinafter referred to as defendant, did intentionally and knowingly engage in sexual contact with Jesus Leza, a male child younger than 17 years old, by touching part of the genitals of Jesus Leza III with the intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of any person against the peace and dignity of the state.
How do you plead? All right, state, do you have any opening statements?
We do, Judge.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Betrayal comes from those that you trust the most. And oftentimes, the people that we trust the most are our family. Throughout this case, you're going to hear testimony from Jesus and his family. And they're going to tell you how they let the defendant into their home and into their hearts. And over time, Jesus and his family, they build that trust with the defendant and ultimately was betrayed the times that he sexually abused Jesus when Jesus was 13 years old. You are going to hear testimony from Regina, Jesus's mother. She is going to tell you about how the defendant would stay with their family in their home months at a time. She's going to tell you about how throughout a couple of years, she entrusted him with her children. But most importantly, she's going to describe to you that horrible day when Jesus disclosed the abuse. And of course, the steps that she took to protect her son as a mother. We also anticipate you hearing testimony from Jose Garza, Regina's husband, and the brother of the defendant, making the defendant the step uncle of Jesus. And Jose is going to tell you about what steps he took to get the defendant out of his home the day that Jesus outcried. You're also going to hear testimony from Deputy Eric Hernandez, who was the deputy that responded to the scene when Regina made the report. You're going to hear testimony from Investigator Rachel Salazar, who is now a sergeant with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office and was the investigator of this case at the time. And she's going to talk to you about the criminal investigation process and how, looking back, she would have done things a little different. You also hear from the SANE nurse, SANE stands for Sexual Assault Nursing Examination, and she's going to talk to you about the purpose of the exam and the process of the examination. And finally, you're going to hear from Jesus, who is now 16 years old and a junior in high school. So you're going to see a 16-year-old junior in high school, and he's going to tell you about what happened when he was 13 years old. And he's going to tell you how the defendant came to his room on more than one occasion. He went up to him and he touched his penis. Now, we anticipate that the testimony that he may have some trouble recalling some small details, but please keep in mind that this offense happened almost 4 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you cannot have betrayal without trust. And in this case, the evidence will show beyond a reasonable doubt that Jesus and his family entrusted the defendant, and that the defendant betrayed their trust and took advantage of a young boy who thought of him as his brother. And at the end of this trial, when you listen to all the testimony that will be presented in this case, the evidence will show beyond a reasonable doubt that the offense was committed, and we're going to ask that you hold Mr. Alejandro responsible for what he did to Jesus. And we're going to ask that you find him guilty. Thank you.
Defense, any opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Consistency matters, details matter, and investigations matter. Talked about that in voir dire. You're going to see it here on display over the next few days. You're going to hear from those witnesses. You're going to hear from some deputies who went out, asked some cursory questions, left, didn't do anything else with the case. Then you're going to hear from a SANE nurse who's going to basically tell you, yep, they said there was an allegation. There's no physical evidence. Everything said is as consistent with something happening as it would be consistent with something not happening. You're going to hear from Jesus. Jesus is gonna tell you about some details that he remembers, he doesn't remember. But there's gonna be, in my opinion, there's gonna be a lot of things that he gets inconsistent, okay? And not from, I talked about it once 4 years ago, and now I'm testifying. From talking with deputies, from talking with CPS, from talking with other police, law enforcement. Not years after, I'm talking about days after. Or immediately after. There's gonna be inconsistencies, and we know that those are important to corroborate, not only between Jesus, but between Jesus and his mom, between other witnesses. And that's how we determine, that's how you get to determine credibility of these witnesses. And remember, this is a case beyond a reasonable doubt. This isn't, well, maybe it happened, right? We talked about the importance and the highest burden that we have here because we're talking about someone's freedom, someone's liberty. And you're gonna hear from investigator, now I guess Sergeant Salazar. And you're definitely, I hope you get to hear about the things that she should have done differently. Because there's a lot of them. And we talked about, that is unfair. It's unfair to Jesus. But it's also unfair to Raymond. And you're gonna hear that she didn't even know if the DA's office would go forward with the case at one point.
Your Honor, I'm gonna object. Can we approach?
Ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the last statement. Then you may proceed.
Thank you. You're gonna hear from Investigator Salazar, and like the state told you, how she wishes she could have done things differently, how she should have done things differently. And at the end of this trial, when you look at this evidence or lack of evidence, and you really sit down and go, all right, do I have enough here? Do I have enough to convict someone of this offense with these inconsistencies, with this investigation, with this testimony? You're not gonna come close to beyond a reasonable doubt. So at the end of this case, I'm gonna ask you to find Raymond not guilty. Thank you.
All right, state, call your first witness.
State calls Regina Garza.
All right, if you can raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Regina Garza.
Be sure to keep your voice up and speak in the microphone so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear. State.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, Regina. Do you live in Bear County?
Yes.
How long have you been living here in Bear County?
Most of my life.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a LVN
An LVN,
nurse.
a nurse. Okay. So who do you live with?
My husband and my 4 kids.
Okay, what's your husband's name?
Jose Garza.
And you said you have 4 kids. Who are your 4 kids?
Jesus, Jose, Ariana, and Avery.
And what are their ages?
16, 11, 5, and 3.
Okay. Do you share any of those 4 children with Jose?
Yes.
Which ones?
Ariana and Avery.
Okay, Ariana and Avery. So Jose, is that your biological son?
No,
That's Jose's biological son. Okay.
correct.
And then Jesus. Who is Jesus' biological father?
Jesus Lessa Jr.
Your son Jesus is the third?
Yes.
Does Jesus Jr., does he still live here in Bear County?
Yes.
So when were you married to Jesus Jr.?
Yes.
What year were you married?
2006 to 2011.
Okay. And in 2011, then there was a divorce?
Yeah, correct.
And when was Jesus the third born?
In 2007.
What's his date of birth?
It's November 23rd, 2007.
So whenever you divorced, were you all living together? You and Jesus Jr.?
Before, when we got divorced, I was living with my parents.
Okay. Did Jesus the third end up living with you?
Yes,
And you lived with your parents? Did your parents in San Antonio?
yes,
Okay. And how long were you living with your parents?
for about 2 years.
And then after those 2 years, where did you move to?
I moved into an apartment with an ex-boyfriend.
What year did you move into this apartment?
I want to say in 2012.
And then after 2012, did you stay in that apartment or did you move to a different apartment?
We ended up breaking up and I stayed in the same apartment complex, but got an apartment just for me and Jesus
Okay, and what year was that?
in 2015.
Okay. What's the name of the apartment complex?
Okay,
Can you spell it?
OAKGATE.
Okay, just making sure, just for the court reporter. And how big was so Oakgate Apartments, is that in Bear County?
Yes,
Do you know the address?
3500 Oakgate.
And how big was the apartment?
It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
And who lived in that apartment?
It was me and Jesus, and then my current husband, he moved in with Jose.
And was that in 2015? Okay, so in 2015, living in this apartment, the 2-bedroom apartment was yourself, Jesus, your husband, your current husband, and his son Jose.
Yes,
4 people.
yes.
Okay, so it was a 2-bedroom apartment, so what were the sleeping arrangements?
Me and my husband slept in one room and Jesus and Jose had the other. But a lot of times Jose would sleep with us because he was still young.
So Jose was 5 years younger than Jesus.
Yes.
So at this point in 2015, how old was Jesus?
7 or 8.
Well, he was born in
Mhm.
2007, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can add 8 years after
Yeah.
that, give or take. And Jose was 5 years younger than Jesus, right? So that would be maybe 3 years old,
Yes.
give or take. Okay.
Mhm.
So really, the one that slept on the room by himself was mainly just Jesus because Jose would sleep with you, all right?
Correct.
Okay. Can you describe Jesus's bedroom?
There was a bunk bed with a twin on top and a full size bottom. And then a dresser with a TV on top. And kid decoration.
Was there anything else with the TV?
There was a DVD player.
Okay, anything else?
No.
So what kind of activities did Jesus like to do as an 8-year-old?
Video games.
Okay, so what kind of video games did he have? Like what kind of console? Yeah,
Mostly, oh, he had an Xbox.
an Xbox.
Mm.
And would he play the Xbox in his room or where would he play?
He would kind of go back and forth, mostly in the living room, but he would take his Xbox to his room.
What kind of games did he play?
Sports games, like Madden, FIFA.
Okay. So you said that Jose moved in 2015. Right? Did y'all get
Yeah.
married?
No,
At what point did you end up meeting his family?
it's pretty much as soon as we started dating,
And that would be in
2015.
Okay. Do you know someone named Raymond Alejandro?
Yes,
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
yes.
Can you describe him with using an article of clothing?
A green t-shirt.
That the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. When did you first meet Raymond Alejandro?
2015.
And is he related to Jose?
Correct.
In what way?
He's his younger brother.
So in 2015, when Jose moved into the apartment, How often would you see Raymond Alejandro?
Infrequently. He was still in high school
Do you know where he was living at the time?
with his mom.
And that would be here in San Antonio?
Yes.
How was your relationship with Mr. Alejandro at the beginning?
Just in passing, it wasn't. We were friendly, but not that close.
Was it maybe like cordial,
Yeah,
respectful?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did you all stay in the apartment?
until 2019.
Okay. And from 2015 to 2019, did your relationship with Raymond Alejandro change?
Yes.
Okay. At what point?
He didn't have a place to live when his mom didn't have an apartment anymore. So he moved in with us,
What year did he move in with you all?
2017.
And in 2017, so you stated that in 2015 he was still in high school. In 2017, was he still in high school too?
No,
Do you know how old he was in 2017?
I don't.
You know when he graduated from high school?
No.
So when he moved in, what kind of so how were the sleeping arrangements when you moved in?
He would sleep in on the full-size bed.
And who would sleep in the twin size bed?
Jesus.
Okay. And of course, Jose would sleep with you all.
Yes.
Okay. Did he have how long did he stay? Would he stay with you all permanently or would he?
He did. He would stay with us for a while and then he would leave. Then he's come back.
When he was staying with y'all, would he work? Would he go to school?
He had multiple jobs, but he didn't really keep one permanently.
So you mentioned that the relationship started changing in 2017, which is when he started staying with you all. How did it change?
We grew extremely close.
Extremely close in what way?
He was like my little brother.
What kind of things would you and him do together?
Everything it felt like.
Can you give us some examples?
Grocery shopping, cleaning the house, cooking, helping taking care of kids.
And at this point, you only had 2 kids at the time, right?
Yes.
How long or how much time would you spend with Mr. Alejandro?
A lot of time. If I wasn't at work, if I was at home, he was there.
What kind of impact did he have in you around this time?
Sometimes it felt like he was all I had.
Was he? And you can take a minute if you like. Where was Jose around this time? Was he still living there?
Yes.
What does he do for a living?
He's a police officer.
And he was a police officer at the time?
Correct.
And what were his shifts like?
They're all over the place.
Irregular?
Yeah.
Does that include night shifts as well?
Yes.
So who would help you with taking the kids to school?
It was mostly me. I had to pick up and drop off, but at the time Jose was not in daycare. So Raymond would help watch Jose.
And how long would Raymond stay with Jose in the apartment?
All day, all the time.
So this relationship changed in a good way in 2017.
Yes.
Okay. So then you mentioned that you were in the apartment in up to 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened in 2019?
We bought a house,
Who's we?
me and my husband.
And that house, is that in Bear County?
Yes.
Are you currently still living in that house?
Yes.
Do you remember the month when you bought the house?
In February.
Can you describe the house? How big is the house?
1,900 square feet. It's 4 bedroom, 2 bath.
Were you all still a family of four when you moved into the house?
Yes,
What about Raymond, Mr. Alejandro? Was he living with you all still in the apartment and then moved into the house, or what happened to him at the time?
no, he wasn't with us at the time.
So then, when you were at the house, I believe, so you mentioned you have, Ariana, right?
Yes, in October of 2019.
She's a 5-year-old, so she was born October of 2019. So you
Yeah.
were pregnant when you moved into the house?
Yes,
Okay. Between February and October of 2019, did Mr. Alejandro ever come back to live with you all again?
yes.
And what were the arrangements, the sleeping arrangements when he moved or when he would go into the house?
Sometimes he would sleep on the couch or he would sleep on the full-size bed with Jose.
So there's 4 bedrooms, right? So who's who? Who has?
Jose has his own bedroom, Jesus has his own, Ariana had her own, and then we had our own.
So why would Mr. Alejandro sleep with Jose?
Because it was a full-size bed.
So Jose had the full-size bed.
Yes,
What about Jesus?
he had a twin. He had the bunk bed in the beginning,
So what do you mean by the bunk bed?
the top of the bunk bed in his
You-
room.
You split the bunk beds?
Yes,
Okay. And in 2019, or actually, okay, so I want to talk about what happened on February 22nd of 2021. Do you remember that day?
yes.
Tell me what happened? Where were you coming from?
I came from work.
From your nursing job?
Yes,
Okay. And where did you go?
when I first came in,
Yeah, so you're coming from work, but where did you go?
home.
Home. And what happened when you got home? What time
Uh,
was it?
I don't remember, but normally I get home around
5 AM or PM?
PM.
What happened when you got home at 5 PM?
Um, I went to the bathroom and then I came out and Jesus was home. And my husband had told me that he seemed upset. So I went to go talk to him in his room.
So on February 22nd of 2021, do you know how old Jesus would have been on that day? Did you say 12?
Yes,
Okay. You want me to approach?
Yes.
Let me show you Mark, State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this?
yes.
Can you please tell the court what this is?
A picture of Jesus at 12.
And does this picture fairly and accurately depict what Jesus looked like at that age?
Yes,
Your Honor, at this time, we move to admit State's Exhibit 1.
Object to relevance.
All right. State relevance.
This is the complainant in this case, Judge, right around the time when the outcry is about to happen. So it gives the jury an illustration of how that's actually happened.
All right, objection is overruled. State's exhibit number 1 is admitted into evidence.
Thank you. Permission to publish?
Granted.
So you stated that you went to go talk to Jesus when you got there.
yes.
Did you notice anything about Jesus?
He seemed visually upset. He had his hoodie over his head, his headphones on,
And where was he?
in his bedroom.
Was he by himself?
Yes.
What did you do?
When I walked in, he told me, I asked him what's wrong, and he told me I needed to sit down.
Was there anybody else in the room?
No,
And did you sit down?
yes.
What happened?
He told me that Raymond inappropriately touched him.
What was his demeanor when he was telling you this?
Scared.
What, what did you do? What did you do next? When he
I-
told, actually, let me withdraw the question. When he told you this, what was going through your mind?
My mind was racing and my heart dropped and I asked him exactly what do you mean? Like how?
Did you ask to clarify?
Yes.
Did he give you any clarification?
He said that he touched him under his shorts while he was sleeping and touched his penis.
Did he say when?
He said Sunday morning.
Did he say when exactly on Sunday morning?
I'm sorry.
Did he say when exactly on Sunday morning?
Uh, I think around 5 in the morning.
Did he say anything else?
He said he did it for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Did you ask any more questions?
No,
Is that the only time that he talked about?
no.
What else did he say?
He said that he did it again that afternoon while he was playing video games.
What day out of the week was this
That he told me or that it happened.
that he told you?
It was a Monday.
And which Sunday was he referring to?
The day before.
So he said that it also happened on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon?
Both.
And what happened on Sunday afternoon? Did he say anything?
He said he was playing video games on his gaming chair and he came to come sit next to him and started touching him again
And where did he touch him?
on his penis.
Did he say if it was over or under the clothing?
I don't remember that time.
Did he say how long that happened on the second instance?
I don't remember.
So of course, when you were learning about this, what did you do next?
I called my husband to come to his room. My Jesus. He was in the living room. Their daughter.
Was there anyone else in the house?
Yes.
Who else?
Raymond.
Where was he?
Sitting at the island.
Kitchen island?
Yes.
So you called your husband into Jesus' room, and what happened next?
I told him that Jesus had something to tell him.
And then
He told him that Raymond had touched him.
what did you do after?
Um, we went to our bedroom,
Who's we?
me and my husband.
And what happened in the bedroom?
I told him he needed to get him the fuck out of our house.
Are you referring to
Right.
Alejandro? To your knowledge, what did your husband do?
He stayed in the room, but he called his brother, his older brother,
Where did you go?
back with Jesus in his room.
To your knowledge, did Mr. Alejandro stay in the house?
He did. Up until a certain point, and then he walked out.
After he walked out, did you ever see him again?
No,
What did you do after he left?
called Bear County Sheriff's.
You made the report?
Yeah.
And this was that same day that you learned about this information?
Yes.
So when you called the police, Did you provide them all the information that you had?
Yes.
And I'm guessing they provide you with the police report number
Yes.
to follow up?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens after?
Well, they talked to the investigator and they had said,
Okay, well, just, let me caution you, you can't tell me what they tell you, okay?
oh, okay.
So, but just tell me what happened. Did you end up doing anything additional after you made the
Yes.
report? What did you do?
We took him to go get a SANE exam
Okay, and where was that at?
at Christus.
Santa Rosa?
Yes, children's,
Do you know when you took them?
on Wednesday.
And then after you took them to Santa Rosa, did you take them anywhere else?
A child safe.
To your knowledge, what happened at child safe?
Jesus told them what happened.
Was he interviewed?
Yes.
I want to talk about the phone plan. Who was part of your phone plan? Your cell phone plan.
Raymond was our phone plan.
So how many phones do y'all have as part of a family?
At the time, we
Yes.
had 4, 5.
And who were they?
Me, my husband, my grandmother, Raymond, and Jesus, I think.
So after you made the report, whatever happened to that phone plan?
We kept it on because it was still under a contract.
So you were still paying for the phone of Mr. Alejandro?
Yes,
Did you know his phone number?
yes.
When he left the house, do you know where he left to?
I don't know.
Defense.
Thank you. Ms. Garza, going to the home that you're currently living in, if you could, to your best description, tell me, I guess, where Jesus's room is compared to the rest of the rooms.
Our house is more rectangular, long ways. When you walk in the front door, there's a hallway to the left. And the front room is Jose. There's a bathroom, then Jesus's room. Then you go, there's another hallway, and it's the living room, dining room, kitchen, it's open. And Ariana's room on the left, and then in the back is the master bedroom.
Okay, so to get to the master bedroom, you have to walk past the rest of the rooms?
Yes,
Okay, and but is it a long hallway, I guess, for the rooms?
it's like separated,
Okay,
like, but it's a hallway to go to the living room and dining room.
okay,
And then it's a small hallway between the 2 boys' rooms.
all right. So you said Jesus has his own room, correct?
Yes,
All right. And then when Raymond would stay at the house, he would normally stay on the couch, or sometimes he would sleep with your youngest son.
correct.
All right. And obviously it wasn't unusual for Raymond to stay at your house, right?
No,
When he wasn't staying at your house, was he normally at his mom's?
yes,
And so was there even a time, I guess, during the winter cold where you guys had to stay in Raymond's room at his mom's house?
yes,
Okay. And that was close in time, in proximity to these incidents we're talking about, right?
it was before.
Before. All right. And you're a nurse, right?
Yes,
Okay, so obviously Raymond would stay at the house, and obviously he would get a place to stay, and then he would help out with the kids, is that right?
yes,
And so that would be Jesus and Joey and Ariana?
yes,
All right. And would he, I guess, do activities with the kids?
yeah,
Okay, so he would hang out with Jesus and Joey and Ariana.
yes,
All right. And that was because, in part, you're working as a nurse, right?
yes,
And then your husband is working as a police officer.
yes.
Okay. Now, going to that Monday, so you remember the outcry or when Jesus told you what happened, that was on a Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the 5 a.m. incident, we're talking about Saturday night leading into Sunday, is that right?
Yes.
All right. You don't remember telling Jesus that he had a certain bedtime on Saturdays or anything during that time, right?
No.
Okay. And so he gets home and you and your husband notice that he's upset.
Yes.
Okay, he goes to his room and you take the initiative to go into Jesus's room to speak to him, right?
Yes.
All right. So you're in there and he tells you, I guess generally Raymond touched him inappropriately. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you, obviously being concerned, you ask him follow-up questions to get more details.
Yes.
Okay, and then that's when he starts giving you the other details that you testified to, right?
Yes.
You and your husband, I guess, go to your bed, you pass Raymond and you go to your bedroom,
Yes.
and then that's when you're speaking to your husband about how to make sure that obviously Raymond can't stay there anymore, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then eventually Raymond's other older brother, Angel, comes to pick him up, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, going back to when Jesus is describing some of the incidents, the one that happened at 5 a.m. on Sunday, he just told you he touched him inappropriately underneath his shorts. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. And it lasted about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes.
All right. And then the next day or next afternoon is when he said that he was playing video games and Raymond came and sat next to him on the floor.
Yes.
And then you don't remember if he gave more details than that, is that right?
I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough. Now, eventually deputies come to your house, right?
Yes.
And you guys are outside the house when you're speaking to the deputies?
Yes.
And Jesus talks to them for a little bit, and then I think he's playing basketball while you're talking to the deputies, right?
I don't remember what Jesus was doing.
Okay. They give you the police report number, and I guess they tell you an investigator is going to follow up.
Yes.
All right. Now you do give a written statement later on. Is that fair?
Yes.
So this happened February 20th, 21st, 22nd of 2021, right?
Yes.
And your written statement, that follow-up comes May 11th of 2021. Does that sound accurate?
I don't remember.
Okay, if that's what's written on your statement, would that be accurate?
Yes.
All right. So about 3 months, right?
Yes.
In your follow-up, or even the deputies, did they ask about identifying information for Raymond?
They asked for a phone number.
Okay.
And his name and
And-
where we would think he would go.
Okay. So did you provide them that phone number?
I did.
Okay. And you provided Raymond's actual phone number, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said where you thought he would go. I mean, you stayed at his mom's house, so you're pretty sure he's gonna stay at his mom's, right?
Yes.
So you provided that address, right?
I don't know the address.
Okay. I mean, did you know how to get there, or your husband knows how to get there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the deputies or the police want to go check his mom's house, you either told them or would have been able to tell them how to get to his mother's house.
I would have told them.
Okay, they didn't ask?
No. They didn't ask me how to get there.
They didn't ask for an address?
They asked for the address, but we stated we didn't know the exact address.
Okay. Did they ask for his mom's phone number?
I don't remember that.
And then obviously it's a family, so Angel came and picked him up. So you guys have Angel's contact information as well, right?
Yes,
Because presumably Angel took him to wherever he was gonna go stay.
yes.
Did they ask for Angel's information?
I don't remember.
Um. It's fair to say that it's either you or someone in your family would have known Raymond's phone number and where to locate him. Is that fair?
Yes,
And so you wouldn't have told the detective or investigator or anyone else, I don't know his phone number or how to get a hold of him, right? Because you did.
yeah.
I'll pass a witness.
Briefly, Judge. Regina, regarding the bedtime, Jesus' bedtime, you said that he doesn't have one?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, what time does he normally go to sleep? That you know of,
Then or now?
then,
Then I think he would stay up kind of late.
okay, and how would that make you feel?
Oh, I would get upset at him if I found him awake at past midnight.
What do you mean by upset?
Like,
Like, would you get
Like-
grounded, or would you just yell at him and raise your voice?
no, yeah, I would just raise my voice, I guess.
And of course, he wouldn't like that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Would he get scared?
Yeah,
Did you say past midnight? If you catch him past midnight, or,
yes.
okay. What does he normally do in his room when he's not playing video games?
Oh, he's on his phone.
Okay. Does he have a TV in the room?
Yeah.
And does the TV have any access to cable or the internet, or?
Oh, the internet, the
Okay.
Xbox.
So when you stated earlier about what Jesus had told you about being touched inappropriately, did he specify what he meant by that?
He did.
Okay, and just to clarify that, what did he say?
He masturbated him.
Okay, but did he say that?
He did.
Okay, you want me to approach?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you this.
Mhm.
Do you recognize this?
Yeah.
What is this?
My statement.
Okay, feel free to review it, to refresh your recollection, but do not read from it directly, so it hears, okay?
Mhm.
So I know that sometimes we may think of certain things without actually the actual word, but is there anywhere in your statement where that is mentioned?
It does not.
Okay. Instead, what words do you use to describe that?
He touched him for 10 to 15 minutes.
With what?
It doesn't say.
Okay, well, did he
Where?
use
His hand,
his hand? Okay, and he touched where?
his
His
penis.
penis, okay. So regarding the information for Mr. Alejandro, you mentioned that you didn't know his mom's address.
Correct.
Why? Is it a new address, or why is it that you don't know?
We don't go over there often.
Okay, so do you know how to get there?
Maybe.
Okay. Who normally drives when you go over there, you or your husband?
Oh, my husband.
At any point after, so you stated right now on cross-examination that the older brother came and picked Mr. Alejandro up.
Yes.
Is that something that you know for sure, or is that something that you may have been told?
That's what I was told. I didn't witness it happen.
Okay. But you know for a fact that he wasn't there when you reported it to the police.
Yes.
Okay. From the moment that he left, you stated that you've never seen him again, right?
Yes.
Has he had any contact with you?
No.
Has he tried calling you,
No.
texting you?
No.
What about messaging you through social media?
No.
So nothing really was discussed or addressed.
No.
Did you want to?
No.
No further questions.
Defense.
No further questions.
All right, is this witness excused?
We are just gonna have her hold subject to recall.
Right, you may step down. State, call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, state calls Jose Garza.